All right, and we are back. All right, so we've got Kendra here on a mulligan to 6. I'm seeing a 1-drop Bogle. I'm seeing some auras. That's more or less what you want to see, and it's going to take me a moment here to fully process what's going on with Evan's hand.
I see we've got an Astrolabe, Kor Skyfisher, Muldrifter, Brainstorm. Like, this hand's perfectly fine if you're not playing against a hexproof creature that's going to kill you in 4 attacks.
Yeah, and this is all right. So yeah, we've got the Spider Umbra already hitting, and we're off to the races here. And I'm not sure that Skyfisher is going to take care of what it needs to.
Well, it looks like Kendra doesn't have a 3rd land or another enchantment to play on that Bogle, so the Skyfisher is going to stop it for a turn. This is going to allow Evan to try and draw some cards and ultimately try and put some pressure on to the Bogles deck. But once this Armadillo Cloak comes down, it's basically over.
I was going to say there's a lot. She's drawing live into a lot of different possibilities here, and it's not feeling super great here. The Abundant Growth is a good hit, and we're just going to chain that directly into a Utopia Sprawl. So, I don't know which is coming down next turn. It's either going to be that Ancestral Mask or that Armadillo Cloak, and either way, that's going to put a big old wrench in Evan's plan here.
Yeah, I think that it's likely to be the Ancestral Mask. It's just going to make the creature so large. And then Armadillo Cloak the following turn to just kind of seal the deal. I don't think getting the life now is going to be relevant. Although it is possible to put the Armadillo Cloak on just to give the creature trample. To make sure that it gets in every turn.
I was wondering if the trample here was going to be valued more or less than just making the creature Titanic. Because right now, right now that is going to clock in at 5 enchantments once the Ancestral Mask hits, because it's also going to count that Remora.
Yeah, the Remora is going to draw a couple cards, but there's going to be a lot of damage coming here from the Bogles deck.
The big thing is, how many cards do you have to draw when you don't have removal to deal with the creature? Like,
you can draw all of them, it just doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it is in kind of a tough spot here. All right, so we're seeing, the Ancestral Mask, never paying that 4 mana. Now, worth pointing out that these card draws can draw Evan into counterspells. It doesn't look like he hit one there, but it does give him the chance to respond to some of these things. It's not a huge one, but that is something to consider here.
Well, the Ephemerate is going to allow him to pick up the Astrolabe and get a block in with the Skyfisher. But I'm still not sure what Evan's plan is from here.
I mean, he's got the land to hit the Mulder for next turn, and doesn't know that Trample is going to be online very, very soon.
Yeah. I guess he could just let the Remora die. No, he's going to keep it around. Unless he draws a castable creature, he's going to take another hit from this Bogle.
He's going to take a substantial hit here.
Well, he can Astrolabe. He has another Remora that doesn't really do much. He has a ton of lands in his hand.
Yeah, he's hit quite a few of those so far, and that is not doing him any favors. He's gonna be in at a very low life total at the end of next turn, and Kendra is going to be at a pretty unassailably high one.
Yeah, unless Evan draws some way to interact with this, Kendra's going to be doing 15 points of damage next turn, possibly more if she happens to draw into a land. So if she draws into a land, then she can play that Utopia Sprawl out of the hand plus the Armadillo Cloak, which is +6 for the Ancestral Mask.
All right, let's see what Evan's got here. Just passing the turn, and Heliod's Pilgrim not going to just make this turn lethal, but
Actually, I guess she doesn't even need to draw land because the Sprawl on the other forest, floating one, gives her enough to Armadillo Cloak. And I think this might actually be the lethal. It's going to be for 17 points of damage exactly.
Well, we certainly don't have to worry about this first game running overtime. Wow. Okay, so let's take a look at the players' sideboards here for this match. What are you liking out of Evan's sideboard? Because he is definitely on the back foot here.
So it looks like Evan has an Oblivion Ring, a Red Element Blast, a Swirling Sandstorm, 2 Electrickeries, 2 Relics, 2 Weather the Storm, 3 Hydroblast, 3 Pyroblast. So like the Oblivion Ring actually gives him a way to interact with the enchantments, so it's probably worth bringing in. Swirling Sandstorm and Electrickery, if he happens to have them at the right time, it gives him ways to interact. I think that's just really all he needs, especially when on the play. And I could see an argument for some number of Weather the Storm as a way to just try and gain a bunch of life, since the Bogle deck is going to be playing a lot of spells at once. We can see here in this first game, there's 3 6 1-mana spells just on the Boggle side. So that's probably what you can bring in. Cards like Scred, Lightning Bolt, Flame Slash are going to be mostly dead. So you might as well bring in something that gives you a chance to interact. But I still don't like his chances.
Yeah, Oblivion Ring is not a speedy answer here, and I'm even torn on the idea of bringing in Electrickeries here, just because you have such a slim window for those to be effective. And even Weather the Storm, I'm kind of mixed on that as well. That could wind up being a glorified fog in some situations.
That's true. Scred does literally nothing in this matchup. So.
That's true. That is. Yeah, this may be one of those sideboarding decisions where it's less about what's going to make your matchup better and what is going to be not literally dead.
Yep. Now, on the Boggle side, I expect potentially some number of Flaring Pain may come in. Actually, Flaring Pain is something that you would see come in if you didn't have access to your opponent's deck list, which our players do. So Kendra actually won't even need to bring in Flaring Pain. I honestly don't think that she's going to bring in anything except maybe the Dispel to try and snag an Electrickery if it happens to happen that way. But Swirling Sandstorm is a sorcery, so I don't even think she needs to bring in anything.
I think from her seat, you just can't worry about Swirling Sandstorm because it is a 4-mana spell. Like, this is a deck that sometimes your opponent will just be dead by that point. So I think you just can't concern yourself with that in this matchup.
Pretty much.
All right. So after Mulligans, we've got Evan on 5. It does include Electrickery. And we have Kendra with 2 1/1s at hand. So if she goes exactly Slippery Bogle into Silhana Ledgewalker, she is about to have a huge blowout on her hands. But okay, we see here putting down the Utopia Sprawl. She's playing it a little bit more cautiously. This is going to be a tough one for Evan because he either does nothing here and leaves up Electrickery or tries to advance his board state. And it looks like he's going to leave up that Electrickery. All right. We've got the Bogle. We've got the Rancor. And
we're going to do Rancor first. This is going to not be great for Kendra.
Yeah. This is going to be one of the few chances that Evan has to 2-for-1 her and just kind of cross his fingers and hope that there isn't another Bogle in hand. And unfortunately, from our vantage point, we can see that there's another one coming down next turn.
There is, but Evan does have Secret of the Way now, along with Lightning Storm. So he does have a chance to try and push enough damage to clock Kendra. We're just not going to attack. That's interesting. Yeah, I think that I would have liked to have seen like a Skyfisher replay the Astrolabe, attack for 3, gain 3 life.
Yeah, I think the life gain would be nice here. And
I mean, you're not blocking with the Secret of the Way, so you might as well get some damage in.
Yeah. This is putting him in a tricky situation. Although having the Skyfisher to keep the Silhana Ledgewalker at bay for at least a little bit, at least being able to chump block in this situation, is a nice value add here for him.
Mm-hmm. Also interesting to note here, it looks like the color on Utopia Sprawl is green. So Kendra actually cannot cast that Ethereal Armor in her hand.
Yeah, and that's kind of putting a crimp here, because if she could land that, that is pretty solid on this board. That's going to turn one of those Silhana Ledgewalkers into a very legitimate threat here. But she's kind of giving Evan exactly what he wants to see here. She's giving him a little bit of time to try and set up a board presence and try and dig into more relevant cards here. So I think that, you know, as much as I was doubtful about Electrolyze here, Electrickery, excuse me, it certainly threw her off enough that it's helping Evan stay in this game here.
It's interesting to note here, there are a couple spots where I think Evan could have taken alternate lines. We missed the one attack for 3 by replaying the Astrolabe earlier. In addition, the way he tapped his mana here, he's not able to play that other Seeker of the Way on this turn. So having that second Seeker out would make next turn way, way better as a way to pressure damage and pad your life total a little bit.
Yeah, and those things, obviously, you know, if you have multiples of those hanging out, that's just going to increase the advantage here. All right, so
now Kendra did finally find a white source, so if she happens to draw into something like Armadillo Cloak, this could just turn around really quick.
Yeah, and even she might have to. It's tricky here because I don't think she ever wants to be on the defense, but there might be an argument for her keeping that, whichever Silhana Ledgewalker winds up with that huge stat line as a result. Ooh, drawing into the Cartouche. And
that's going to be good.
Yeah, that is going to be real rough.
So she's going to be able to fight one of the Seekers.
Yep.
Push some damage. I'm curious why she's not fighting the untapped Seeker. I guess it doesn't really matter since it can't block the Ledgewalkers anyway.
Yeah, I think at this point we are seeing a legitimate race here, and I think at this point she's just trying to, you know, attrition a little bit of what Evan has going on so that she's going to just be able to continue executing her game plan versus trying to worry about what he's doing.
Yeah.
All right.
So Evan drew a land. Evan drew a land. We're going to see a preordain. I think I would like to hold that land just in case something happens with Ash Barrens. But I don't think it's going to be relevant.
All right, and we're seeing Ephemerate here. So this is going to let us set up a little bit of trickery here. All right.
All right, so we're going to bolt the plant. I wonder if she... Yeah, so he didn't attack with his Seeker. I wonder if that's a misclick. I think so. We're sitting here in the second main. I think that might have been a misclick.
Yeah, that doesn't feel like the line he wanted to take, especially like spending an actual card on a token
on the plant.
That just, I mean, I guess it is one of the only things in this deck that he can ever target with it effectively besides Kendra's face, but.
Well, he now is able to block, and then he can ephemerate the Skyfisher to save it. He's going to have a couple of turns, but I think that just not getting the buffer on the life.
Yeah, that was a little rough.
Oh, does the green Cartouche give it trample? Yeah, it has trample. Okay, so he's blocking and ephemerating doesn't do anything.
I mean, I guess it lets him spend the mana on Kendra's turn instead of his own turn, but we're looking at a very tiny delta there.
Yeah. All right, well, Muldrifter. Okay, so we can evoke and ephemerate. We get to see 4 cards for 4 mana here. That's good.
One of the classic staples of Pauper, just trying to abuse Muldrifter until you somehow get there.
Ooh, there's the Sandstorm.
Okay, and does he?
But it's a 7/7. He does have Threshold, but that Ledgewalker is a 7/7 with an Umbra. So
he did get an Oblivion Ring here, which does let him get rid of one of the auras.
Yeah, I think if we get rid of the Ethereal Armor, it's the best value.
Is it the Ethereal Armor or is it the Cartouche that's granting Trample? Because...
Well, if the armor goes, then it's just a 3/3.
If the armor goes, I guess that's true. It still does require...
And you can potentially race with the Seeker of the Way if it's only a 3/3.
Mm-hmm. All right. Moment of truth here.
All right, there goes the armor. You'll be able to crash in for 6. This is an aggressive attack. I like it.
So just leaving that Muldrifter back on chump blocking duty.
Ooh, so here's the cantrip. We're going to up the enchantment count.
Another Bogle. That's not what she's wanted to hit here. She's just... If she draws into any of her 3-drop enchantments, she's in a much better position here.
Yeah. Ephemerate's going to draw 2 more cards. Pump up that Seeker of the Way again. And there's a Weather the Storm and a Lightning Bolt and a Remora. I think Evan's in a pretty good spot to steal this game now.
He still does have to chip in for 8 at some point here, but that's becoming a lot more doable at this point.
And another Ephemerate for that Muldrifter. By the way, Ephemerate is a messed up card. I've played Cloud Shift by choice before, and Ephemerate is way better than that.
Well, I mean, it's Ghostly Flicker, but it's spread out over 2 turns, so it's not a combo card, right? That makes it fair.
For 1 mana, Weather the Storm. What's our storm count here?
Looks like 3. 12 life is considerable.
Yeah.
The real tricky thing here is if he can string together enough of his low mana enchantments or his low mana non-creature spells, he could potentially even have that Seeker live through. All right, and it looks like Kendra sees the writing on the wall. We're going back. What is she looking at here?
Yeah, it looks like
natural state.
Yeah, I don't against these Astrolabe decks, like attacking the Astrolabes is not the way that you really want to go, unless you're getting something else out of it, like Smash the Smithereens is also dealing damage out of burn sideboard. So I don't think that I would bring it in here, and it looks like she did not. Now, the Bogles deck on the play is significantly advantaged as opposed to being on the draw.
That one land tapped land hand is just not going to do it for her. Okay, this is a basic forest into Utopia Sprawl with Bogles. I think that looks pretty good for her.
Yeah, I think this is a 6 that you keep.
And even with the abundant growth, she can slam down that Utopia Sprawl on green to make sure that turn 2 she can land 2 threats at the same time, which I like.
Does have to be wary of the Electrickery, but what are you going to do? Looks like Evan is mulliganing to 4 cards.
Oof, that is... I mean, if there's any deck that can mulligan down that low and not worry about it, is it 4 or is it 5 here? I'm seeing...
Mulligan to 4.
Okay. So he's kept a hand that looks like it is being predicated entirely on the fact that he's going to cast Ponder, which great magic card, but
we have 2 mana. We have an Astrolabe to fix. We have a fetch, but what are you really hoping here? As we saw in the previous game, The strategy for this 4-color control deck to beat the Bogles deck is going to be stick a Seeker of the Way, stop them from chunking your health, and whittle them down while buffering your life total. And like Evan's hand does not do that.
I mean, Evan's hand is one of the more keepable 4s I've seen, but 4s generally are not where you want to be. All right, so a little bit more action from Evan's side here.
Well, we are going to see an Armadillo Cloak next turn, though.
Oh, boy. Oh, and even hitting the land, so she gets to slam a Abundant Growth down on that forest. Man, this is... The only thing she's missing here is more enchantments. She's drawn everything else, but she hasn't drawn any of the creature auras.
Yeah, I wonder if... Yeah, I guess because it's worth playing. There's a potential to not cast it there, to not give Evan a card, but I think because you're both drawing a card, it's worth it. The spot that the Bogles deck is in. Ooh, there's a Seeker of the Way.
There is a Seeker of the Way. And the lands are still flowing for Evan. I'm curious to see what line. Okay, yeah. Just going Seeker.
Oh, Ethereal Armor. That is going to be rough.
Oh, boy.
I was thinking Evan may have had a chance to try and do some racing shenanigans here with that Seeker, but this, what is it now, an 8/8? That is going to be tough.
8/8 with pseudo lifelink is gonna be an issue for Evan here.
Well, Evan did find that Oblivion Ring though, so he may have some playback here. I think he has to let the Remora go, especially since the Bogles deck has no cards in hand. There we go.
I mean, if I'm in his position, I've just got to slam this Oblivion Ring as soon as possible and try and stem the bleeding a little bit here.
Well, what are you hitting though, right? So, like, are you going to try and race? In order to do that, you really need to get rid of the lifelink from the Armadillo Cloak. But it is the Ethereal Armor that's giving the Bogles deck the majority of the power on that creature.
I think getting rid of the Ethereal Armor puts him in a position where potentially he can, cast some instant speed stuff and make an attack into that Seeker of the Way less profitable. All right. And he did take Ethereal. I mean, I think the fact that just reducing it to a 3/3 makes it something that he can conceivably deal with. All right, still getting in here. This is a little frisky here.
It's still a 3/3. Evan was tapped out. Now's the time that this Seeker is going to have to start chipping away and buffering Evan's life total. But that Gladecover Scout is so threatening if Kendra is able to find any other enchantments to put on it.
Yeah, and she has the mana now to just slam Ancestral Mask if she finds it, and that is, as a 4 that is just lights out as far as Evan's game goes.
Well, Evan does have Counterspell, so we may see him sit on blue.
I mean, he's not got a whole lot else going on this turn that he needs to do. I think I'd be pretty comfortable sitting here with the Counterspell up, just knowing that there are certain cards in Kendra's deck that are just going to end the game on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Slippery Bogle is not one of them, though.
We're not going to see an attack with the Gladecover Scout.
And I think we're starting to see a corner turned here. Ooh, the Ephemerate on Muldrifter again is that is a
there's a weather the storm. Thing. He needs to find a land though, so he can cast it this turn. Oh, and he missed on the lands.
Yeah, that's a little rough. Though we did also find an Electrickery, which is surprisingly useful here in the mid game.
Mm-hmm. But he doesn't have a land here, so if Kendra is able to draw something like Ethereal Armor or Ancestral Mask, she's going to get to land it.
Yeah,
Well, there's the land. A little late. She drew a forest.
Yep. I mean, that is one of the issues with Bogles as a deck is there's not a lot of card draw in it. You are really hoping to end the game before you start running the risk of flooding out like this.
And we may end up seeing a spot here where this Weather the Storm gets rebought with Archaeomancer to just kind of put everything out of range.
Just really hammer it home.
All right, the Electrickery is going to take care of the 2/1/1s. And I think Evan's in a spot here where he may be able to steal this. I think I just cast a bunch of 1-mana spells.
Yeah.
Or maybe you just cast one 1-mana spell and then you Weather the Storm here, get in for a bunch, and hold up Counterspell.
Yeah, I think he's gone to the point where he has. Oh,
He's just going to play the other Seeker. Might as well.
Yep.
I think that this is a little risky. I think Ancestral Mask may be enough to steal this.
Well, let's do that.
And she drew it. Oh, she drew it. He could have held up the Counterspell.
Oh, that is rough right there. Oh, man. And he doesn't have an answer for this. Like
so he can Archaeomancer back Ephemerate Skyfisher to pick up Oblivion Ring and Oblivion Ring the Ancestral Mask.
And she gets back
she does get back the Ethereal Armor. So it's less damage, but it's still a ton.
I mean that's not a great position to find yourself in. Maybe the play here is just to do that, but instead grab the Armadillo Cloak because that's the only way she's getting in. Like Evan has a decent amount of bodies. He can conceivably keep her at bay for a while and hold up a counterspell for any other sources of trample. It's a longer line, but I think he's got to do something to not just die here.
He also can just gain a bunch of life from these Seekers. I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Yeah,
but it's worth trying.
That's the thing. Now every single enchantment, even if Kendra hits more abundant growths, those still add to her clock. She's just upped the amount of cards in her deck that are actually live draws to keep getting in. All right.
I guess he can Ephemerate the Archaeomancer, get back Weather the Storm, and gain a bunch of life this turn. I think that if that was the plan, then you do that pre-combat, so you get extra triggers on your Seeker of the Way.
Yeah.
No, we're just going to ponder. Again, I think all of this stuff could have been done pre-combat to get extra triggers. I think there's the potential that may end up being, oh wow, another Weather the Storm.
Oh, battle the top decks here. So that's another 12 life. So this game is not. This game is.
You were saying?
Oh no!
You were saying these counter spells are just sitting in Evan's hand.
Oh, the greed is real.
All right, might as well block. It does have trample.
Down to 4. We've got Kendra sitting pretty at 57. Wow.
Well, that was a draw.
Certainly was. I mean, he still has available to him the line of like ephemerating the Skyfisher and at least like losing the trample off of this Bogle, but I'm not sure. Like the man just cast 2 Storm life gain spells and is still at 4. That is a rough situation to find yourself in. All right, so it looks like we're going here for the plan of rebuying Oblivion Ring.
I wonder if she puts this Ethereal Armor on the other Bogle.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big in.
Forcing 2 chumps in order to stay alive every turn is going to be pretty rough.
Yeah, this also makes it so that Evan doesn't have an attack this turn.
Yeah. All right. So O-Ring, I have to imagine, takes the Armadillo Cloak here. If it doesn't, I think this is just done. Yep. Okay.
Well, bad news. It's still a 35-35. Oh, I guess it'll be less than that. Let's see what it shrinks down to once the Oblivion Ring. Oh, we're going to get rid of the Ethereal Armor.
Huh.
I don't know what that does. Nothing? Okay.
All right. We got our elaborate pre-concede dance. All right. That was, wow, just back-to-back big hits for Kendra there.
Yeah, that was, man. If what I said could happen and was the risk for the line that Evan took is what happened. So that, Kendra has what, 2 Ancestral Masks in her deck?
I think she's on the full 4.
Okay, yeah, she does have the full 4. So there is, she still had a 12% chance or 10% chance or whatever to draw it. But when you're in spots like that Evan was, you especially playing against a deck like Bogles, you can't really afford to give them that out, because the way that this deck works is it's designed to shut off the way you interact with the deck. And so once Ancestral Mask gets on that creature, Evan doesn't have any way to interact with it. So you just can't ever let that happen. And he had the opportunity to do that, decided to further his board with the Seeker of the Way, and ultimately got punished because of it.
Yeah, I think leaving up Counterspell should have been a bit more of a priority, just to make sure that you're not accidentally getting completely ruined by some of these top decks.
Yeah, man,
that
was a draw.
Yeah, Ancestral
a series of draws back to back.
Ancestral Mask is a hell of a card. It really, really does put in work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, just the lack of edict effects, I think, was really what did it, because Evan managed to take a game and pretty reasonably. So
Evan managed to take a game, and that game was 4. And so Kendra had a really small, a really slow start, and he had a way to climb back in. He was, sitting decently with, trying to fight back with Seeker of the Way. I still feel like the Armadillo Cloak kind of made it so that things were going to be really hard for him to be able to come back. But Ancestral Mask sealed the deal.
Yeah.
All right, so why don't we take a little break here and show you guys fantastic information from sponsor of the show, CoolStuffInc.com. And when we return, Michael and I will be covering the next match, which is Evan versus Joseph.
Yeah, this should be a long one.
Yeah, we're gonna strap in. I'm actually gonna go use the restroom during the break since we won't have a chance during the next match.